is shining bright, echoes in the cool twilight. Feel the rhythm in our hearts, dancing where the night sky starts. Waves are whispering your name, lost together in this game. Hold my hand, we'll take a flight, chasing after moonlight, chasing the moonlight. Like oh, feeling the breeze, so slow, slow, never letting go. Oh, oh no, under.
We go to Lynchburg in our monster truck. Hi, play speaker. Bye bye, Nashville. Here we go. The American. Distillery. So after that long journey, we're finally in Lynchburg, ready for the Jack Daniel's Distillery tour. And yes, the weather is crap today, as you can see. Here we are, Jack Daniel's Distillery. We're finally inside, out of the rain. This is inside the main lobby. After having that lovely weather yesterday in Nashville to then come into this, and it's supposed to be like this in Memphis too. Please keep your fingers crossed for us that it's not. Frank wants that bottle. If y'all are actually into Jack Daniel's, then you might find this part of the vlog interesting, because I know that this trip is more for this one, because these two like Jack Daniel's, don't you? Yeah. What's your favourite Jack Daniel's flavour?
Fire, I like apple, and I like honey. All the flavoured ones I like.
What's yours?
Honey.
Honey's your favourite?
Yeah.
I actually did try honey a while back, and honey is quite nice, very sweet. I like the apple one, apple's nice. I'm not as big into it as these two. So we'll see when I do the tasting.
Tiffany on the porch with a bottle of Jack Daniel's.
I feel like an old goodie.
Y'all come back now here.
That is the only accelerant we use because we don't want any foreign taste or smell affecting the whiskey in any way. And I actually do have some in a spray bottle here. I'm going to spray some on your hands here in just a minute. And there's actually good reasons why. There's 5 ingredients that make every single product that we have. Corn, barley, rye, our cave spring water, and our own proprietary yeast. That's it. And Jack's grain bill, we still use the exact same grain bill today that he was using. 80% corn, 12% barley, and 8% rye. So when I do spray it on your hands, bring it up to your nose. Initially, I think you'll be able to smell some of the sweetness from the corn and the grain bill. And then rub your fingers together. Sometimes you'll get a tinge of oiliness on your fingers. If you do, this is straight from the still. One of the purposes of that filtering process is to remove those corn oils from the raw whiskey before it actually gets put into the barrel. So
Let's just sprayed it on our hand.
Yeah.
I do have some history we're going to talk about as we go down the tour path. First, once we get down with the history, we're right in the production area. I do want to address your attention over there to your left, though. There's some grilling products over there. Sometimes people will miss that. We are zero waste here at the distillery. Everything is either reused or recycled. Nothing goes to waste here. So the charcoal, that's one of those items. It's not going to last forever. So when it does get so saturated it stops absorbing, we'll pull it, send it out. There's a couple of companies that we actually use. They convert it into all your grilling products. Smoking chips, smoking pellets, and charcoal briquettes. So you should be able to find those at your local hardware and general. So over that next 20 years or so, you have an influx of people that were coming into the state of Tennessee to homestead. So the state senate or the state Congress or whatever, they decided they were going to start creating districts throughout the entire state for voting purposes. Well, whoever was in charge of the whiskey industry, well, they decided since they created districts, we're going to start issuing certificates to each one of those distilleries in each different district. Whatever certificate number we give them, they're going to be required to put the number of that certificate on their bottle. Well, historically, we were in district number 4, which is the Nashville district, and we got certificate number 7. And it's the right time frame as well, because 1887, we do know factually, that's when number 7 starts appearing on the bottle. So that's the most logical reason I have for it. So it could be something else, but I hadn't heard anything that sounded any better. I'll put it that way. Well, we'll head this way. Let's start getting some of that 28 REO Speedwagon, named after Ransom Eli Olds, who is the founder of the Oldsmobile. This one runs. We still use it for promotional purposes from time to time. Now,
Oh, what a pretty little area.
Can't get over.
distillery for about 29 years, not being able to use any of that water to make whiskey. So he initially goes down to Birmingham, Alabama. He's down in Birmingham for a couple of years. Well, then Alabama institutes statewide prohibition. So he's got to leave. He packs up, goes up to St. Louis, Missouri. He's up in St. Louis for about 8 years. Then federal prohibition is enacted. So now he's got to come back home. When he gets home, he opens up a hardware and general store in the Lynchburg town square. Well, he does that so he can provide for his family and then hang on to the distillery until he can start making whiskey again. Finally, in 1938, this is 5 years after federal prohibition was lifted, Tennessee finally changes some of those laws. So now Lemp can start back. So he runs the distillery until he passes away in 1947. Upon his passing, he wills it to his 4 boys. The 4 boys run the distillery from 1947 until 1956. And if y'all welcome to go in and take photos if you like. This building we're in right now is the oldest building on the property. It dates back to 1887. This is Jack's office. So with the exception of the lights and some of the pictures, everything else in here is what Jack and Lynn Montlow used every day when they came to work. If you haven't seen a picture of Jack before, that's him right there in the center with the white hat. Interesting thing about the picture, though, is the man seated just to his right. That is George Green, the son of Nearest, who is Jack's mentor. When Jack establishes his still, he actually hires Nearest to be his distillery. When he comes here, well, he asks Nearest to come with him. But Nearest is an old man by this time. He did not want to make a 5-6 mile trip every single day to do something he had done for years. So he just basically tells Jack, I'm old, I'm staying back here and retire on the call farm. So he does. Instead, Jack brings George with him. So in the 150 plus years since Jack and Nearest started making whiskey together, there's always been a member of the Green family and Jack's family working side by side here. Family has always been extremely important to us here. So out of frustration, he hauls off and he kicks it. Well, that ends up breaking his big toe on his left foot. Lim comes in about 5 minutes later at his normal time. Naturally, he opens it right up because he did it every single day. So Jack just gets what he needs out and he hobbles on off. He hobbles around on his foot for months. He never says anything or does anything about it. He's just assuming eventually the pain's going to go away. But of course it never does. Eventually it gets so severe, he's got to go see the doctor. When he gets there, the doctor confirms, yes, you've broken the toe. That's no longer his issue. Jack had waited so long the gangrene had now set into his foot. So over the course of about a 6-year period, he endures amputation after amputation. First the toe, then the foot, eventually just below the knee. Finally, one last ditch effort to try to save his life. They cut his leg off just below the hip. But it's no use. In 1911, Jack eventually dies of blood poisoning and complications. That all started about 6 years earlier from kicking that safe right there behind him. So again, that is our murder weapon.
So far, it's a good tour. I keep smelling the factory though. It smells like bread. It smells like bread, but it's rye. Something to do with yeast. This is why it smells like bread. It smells delicious. Oh, it smells delicious. This is where they make it all. See, Mama? That whiskey you like to drink is made in there. It smells nice. It does smell nice. I feel like I'm working in this factory at this point. Let's open the door. Just opened that barrel and went like this and made us sniff it. I'm drunk just off the fumes. You liked it, didn't you?
Oh, I liked it.
Do I like you? Yeah.
I'd have had moonshine.
Through me nose and through. Soon we'll get to taste the samples. You were telling me that I nearly blew them up in the factory because I started recording. And it was 140% proof.
Exact same way, though. 80% corn, 12% barley, and 8% rye. And I do encourage you to take a sip of water before we start. I'll ask that question, could you taste any different?
Yeah. It smells like toast, doesn't it? It's enough for 2 sips.
They're both the same fruit, alcohol content, they're both the same. But that's what that second filtration does, it kind of mellows it just a little bit.
That's number 7.
Hey, that's
Gentleman Jack.
Which is that?
Which one?
I didn't taste much difference.
Getting pissed.
Now the next one you're gonna, this one, actually even more so than this, for me, it kind of coats the inside of my mouth, it kind of lingers in my palate. And I think that's because it's that single barrel and it stays up to the top level. So it tends to be a little creamier, I guess, would be maybe the best way to say it. The finish on this one, for me, it's very similar to this one. It gets down in here just like this one does. This is nice.
Pour down.
Now, what you think about, we use the same 5 ingredients that I told you about. Yeah, you get it, I get it like floral and citrus is kind of what I get on my nose.
I really like it.
Apparently I'm down in my shots. Roasted savoury. 5 down, got one more.
Crisper and cleaner than some of the other liqueurs out there.
This one,
Because of the
apple.
So I'll just go over all three of the liqueurs just real quick. You have the apple, so I'll go over
Smell the
that
apple.
third. We take molasses and honey added into the
This one.
We take cinnamon and simple sugars added into Old Under Set. It goes to the bottom line as our Tennessee Fine. The apple that you have, we take the juice of 3 apples.
That's the winner.
Granny Smith is 70% of the juice. Granny Smith of
I like the apple one best. Do you like the apple one best?
Oh, I love the apple one.
Which one does Frank like best? Which do you like best?
We came out with the honey in 2012. 2014 we came out with the Tennessee Fire. We're trying to get some of the
So all three of us, apple's the favourite. I'm a wee bit tipsy now.
Whoever's in charge decided.
So these were the first 3 we tried. And these were the last 3. Apple being our favourite.
In Japan, I think they're in that top 4.
Most European.
And it does fluctuate from year to year, but y'all are always in the top 3. The UK is always in the top 3.
Yeah, come on UK.
It's that same.
Mother's laughing at me because my face is red.
We actually
Got a bit red, Tiff.
the majority of our
What did I do, Mother? Why are you laughing?
Just going,
I was throwing them back. Frank's made a friend. So technically your dad knew Elvis.
Absolutely. He used to come out. My daddy had a Liberty Cash at the corner of Lauderdale and Exchange, and Elvis and his mother lived in the Lauderdale courts, and my mother lived in the Lauderdale courts. That's why my mom and daddy got married, because she'd come into the store. And, my daddy, he ran the butcher shop, but he was back in the back, but he could see what was going on in the front. So this was after one of Elvis's first early concerts. He had been down, I don't know if it was Tupelo or somewhere down there in Mississippi. Well, the next morning when he got back home, well, he comes into Daddy's grocery store and he has a $1,500 check from this performance. Well, my Aunt Catherine's up at the front desk. She had no idea who he was anyway. Daddy knew who he was. So he goes in, gives it to my Aunt Catherine. My Aunt Catherine looks at it, and of course, immediately, and this is back in the early 50s, so immediately she says, I can't cash that for you. So he just doesn't really argue anything. He just leaves out. And Daddy sees what's going on, so a few minutes later, Daddy walks up there and goes, what was going on? He goes, that boy came in here with a $1,500 check. I'm not going to cash it. He goes, well, you know who that is, right? She goes, no, I don't care who it is. I ain't cashing his check. He goes, well, that's Elvis. That's the boy, he's rock and roll music and stuff. So I wish I had that check now. So
I just love that. We went to
Our tour's done. Done and dusted. That's did we do a tour yesterday? Can't remember now. Now we're getting the shuttle bus into Lynchburg. Do it again.
Oh, wait.
You get a free shuttle bus into Lynchburg. I'm just sat outside this store in Lynchburg, and have you seen this town? This is like such a tiny little town. This is the town. That must be the town centre. I'm just chilling on this chair, waiting for them to. I love this little town. It's like out of a movie. Look at that. They've got like some ice cream shop, some winery, a candy shop, Harley Davidson. There's the Jack Daniels tour. This is where I was just sat. There's the town hall. It's so cute. I love this place. Ooh, leather jackets. There's a Mexican place there. Look at this side. They're so friendly in the south. We're just walking past a bunch of old ladies in hats. We stopped in this cool like barbecue diner rib thing. Doesn't it look cool in here?
What was that one said to try?
See what they do on the menu.
Something about
We're in this
Right.
cool diner in Lynchburg. This is such a cool diner. When you think of an American diner, this is what you think of. What do you think of Lynchburg?
It's lovely.
And it's a small town. It's a tiny little town. It's so cute. My pulled pork barbecue pizza. This is this side of the table.